Are you the best kept secret on LinkedIn? If so, I'm going to help you out today because today we're going to talk about how to link up with great people. And I have someone that you're going to be very interested in. Joyce Feustel is the Boomer social media tutor. You need to know this about her. She is a delight to be around, has so much experience when it comes to connecting deeply with others. I met her a couple weeks ago at a speaking engagement that I had. We just hit it right off. And I was like, wow, she really knows how to make a connection and an impression. And today I hope that while we're going through this, these 4 points that will help you link up with real people, have deep connections so that it's not just about using a platform, but having that platform build impact, influence, and income specifically so that you can make more money, so you can build yourself and make your brand even stand out more on LinkedIn. Super excited. This is something that I need to hear, and I'm super stoked to have Joyce on here today. Let me introduce her. Joyce, welcome to the call. So glad that you're here. We're going to have just an absolute blast when it comes to linking up. So glad that you're here.
Me too. Very excited.
Beautiful. Tell us a little bit about what this idea of linking up means to you, and then we can dive straight into the content.
Well, I'm going to use a story to start out with this.
Ooh, I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah. The other night I was at my Toastmasters meeting. That's a group that helps you communication skills and leadership skills get better. Mm-hmm. And I gave a talk that told a story of how I promoted my own speaking engagement with my local chamber of commerce. The talk was a big hit. The group loved it. And there were 3 speakers. I got voted best speaker, a ribbon too, to go with it, right? Yes. So I came home and it was late, but I thought I'm going to ask a family member to take my picture. So I'm standing there with little eyes kind of drooping a little bit because it was late at night, holding my ribbon. Okay, so this is a photo op, right? You go to social media, you go to Facebook, you go to LinkedIn, even Instagram, which I use a wee bit. So I put this up on LinkedIn, and all these people just go, congratulations, like, you know, I'd won the lottery or something. So it was so sweet to get all this. I have 500-600 impressions by now. And this was Tuesday night, a couple of days ago. So I'll use it as an example of ways in which you can get attention of people, even people hardly know you. One woman didn't even know me and asked me to connect. So there.
Amazing. I love it. Well, one of the things that this brings up for me when you're wanting to link up with someone, it is taking the time to make sure that you're not just saying, hey, I'll talk to you soon, but saying, hey, I want to intentionally have you be part of my ecosystem.
Right.
LinkedIn for me, for a lot of reasons, has been just a resume. It's been something that I put some ideas up, but my main focus has been on Facebook. Talk to me about how you've positioned yourself as a LinkedIn expert. So you've got thousands and thousands of connections, over 10,000 connections.
I think 12,000 now.
Yeah, 12,000 now, which is amazing.
It's incredible, right? So the thing that I do when I get business cards or I get a contact, you know, through just shared contact information on a phone is within 2-3 days of meeting that person, I will reach out to them on LinkedIn. And because I have paid LinkedIn, let me throw this in here, I can write a personalized note. Now, this is the tricky part because paid LinkedIn is $40 a month, which for some people, like, really? But think about it. For $40 a month, every single time you want to reach out to someone, you can write a 300-character note. Otherwise, only 3 times a month are you allowed to put anything into a note. So that's LinkedIn, big money grab, sadly. But I mean, that's a practice I really enacted all through the years. And it's one of the reasons I have so many people on LinkedIn. And one of the cool little tips about LinkedIn too, this is kind of an aside, but when you're connected with someone, you know when you met them. Sometimes that's helpful, right? If I'm going to do an email introduction of 2 people, I'll say, oh, I can say I met Brigham. I met, on this day or this month. And then in my CRM, I'll know that I met you through Toastmasters. But the thing of it is, it helps to ground you just from the get-go. So that's a thought. And when I was thinking about attention, if people don't know you that well, I mean, then they'll of course look at your actually, who was that woman? Oh, who is that? So they look at your picture, right? They look at your headline.
Yeah.
your headline is the most important piece to grab attention, other than maybe your picture. You are kind of out there, you are out there. I'm out there. As a force of personality, we both are. So our pictures need to represent that, right? And yours does. I know I have to look it up, but it looks good. The rest of your profile does need a little help. But
she's like,
the headline is so critical.
Keep the gloves up a little bit. No, it's good.
So that's really what my thoughts are about the attention part.
Amazing. Now, while we're doing this, this is a 4-point framework that I wanted to talk with everyone about. We talk about linking up. In simple terms, a link is a connection,
like
a
friend.
relationship, like a friend. And this is a means to build a relationship. LinkedIn is not the relationship. It is just one way that you make a connection, and you have a way that's formalized to make it easy for others to interact with you.
Well, exactly.
Go ahead.
So then you have people, you have like maybe an inner circle, medium circle, outer circle, and you can proactively go to look up, say, a client or a really important power partner for you periodically, even if it's like once a week or something, and say, gosh, maybe they've said something like I'd want to share with other people, or at least comment on their posts. And so, but what will happen, like with any of the social medias, seems to me, when you comment a bunch of other people's posts, then they are going to come up higher in your feed. So when you open up your feed, even if you just scroll down 3, 4, 5, 6 listings, you are likely to see that person in your feed. But to be really proactive about it, just go over to their LinkedIn profile, look at their activities section, see what they've been up to. And then you can, like I taught a client just earlier this week, if they, like this gal, this shared connection of ours had something, she had put a post up about my client. I said, oh my gosh, look at that. You should feature that post on your page, your profile. So I showed her how to do that. How first you got to repost the post, like share on LinkedIn, share on Facebook type of thing. So now you've got it sort of sitting in your profile. And then you go to the featured section, which is found if you click on add profile section, it's right over by open to, toward the top, right by your picture. So if you click on add section and recommended, then you see this option to add featured. So now when you feature that lovely post somebody else said about you, I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So that's an example of a way that you can really nurture that relationship.
Beautiful. And then you're edifying them for saying something nice about you as well. When someone gives you a great testimonial, or they say something great about you, you feature them on your audience, and that allows them to say, oh wow,
right. So when people see and here's a tip too, on the phone, which most people are here on their phone, then you want to make sure that featured item is on, say if you did it on the computer, you want to go put it on the left. So on a computer, 3 featured items displayed, but on the computer, it's a little screen, you only see 1.
So what I'm hearing there is you want to make sure you're optimizing for people using the phone.
Oh yeah.
Because that's where most people are going to be utilizing LinkedIn. I get that. All right. Now with these 4 points, the first one for me, when I think of making a true link, is to look, because this is commanding attention, not demanding attention. And the difference here is when you have a great hook, it makes it so that people want to actually look. They want to interface with you. What are some of the ways that you help people grab attention and hook it so that they can make a deeper impact on LinkedIn?
So let's think about a post. So you can have a cadence. So Tuesday tip, for example, could be it, and people are used to seeing it. And, so you just went to an event, Tuesday tip, when one of your favorite networking groups has this big service project of the year kickoff, be there. Be there, like that, right? And then you have a picture. Oh, and guess what? I won in the door prize this really cool tote bag. I won't hold it up. It's very cool. And all kinds of cool stuff inside. So that was serendipity, right? So then I have a picture with me and the gal that had the book that I was so happy to get in the tote bag, and the organizer of the event. And people know these ladies, and you tag them. You mention is the proper term on LinkedIn. So you always reference these other people. So that's going to hit their viewers too. When someone has, so if you're in a feed, you ever notice someone says, so and so, like, or they like it or whatever. Is at any rate, you're building that connection with especially well-known people in your business community. That's important too.
Excellent. So what I'm hearing here is a very simple framework for us to think about. Are we documenting or are we creating? Because most of the time it's not about what you created on social media. You're saying, this is what my life is like. Here's what I've experienced. And you're inviting others to come and experience a portion of it with you. And then
Right
as
there.
they feel that, they want to connect deeper with you. It's cultivating relationships. Truly what it is. And when we're thinking about hooks, this is something you'll see over and over in my book. If you don't have somebody's attention, you do not have the right to be able to impact them. There's no way that you can do anything, because if you don't have their attention, they're not going to do anything that you say. So
that's true.
One thing with this, Joyce, do you have any tips or tricks to make it so that people will actually look versus people that were like, scroll past that post? How do you make it so like, oh, this is how I stop people, get the eyes to be like, oh, that looks interesting? How do you
first off,
grab
do
those eyeballs?
something that I should do more of. I mean, a short video would be really the best. Like a YouTube short or something, definitely a minute or less. Have that attached to your post. Then people are more likely to look. I mean, that's the best thing. The picture, some interesting looking picture, something that would grab it. Some sort of, at the beginning of the post, think what would grab them that attention right away, just by kind of just you're scrolling through, you see it. I think AI can be very helpful. I've used ChatGPT a lot. It's the one I identify with and use the most, to say, give me ideas for an attention grabbing, headline or whatever, the beginning, the opening of the post. So, and then again, just the referencing of other people, but don't overdo that, because that can piss them off, to be bluntly. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it where people have listed like 30 people, like just because they want to get in front of those people's people. Okay. So that's a little tip there, what not to do, I think.
Unless they are literally in that exact event, I don't think
that's different, because if they were there, fine. Like I might list all the people who were at my recent networking group, and Susie Q and Sally and whatever. If they're all there and we're happy to have it, that's different.
Exactly. And if you get permission to do it too, that's another.
I think right. You get permission, or you kind of have that type of relationship with that person. They'll tag you, you'll tag them. It's different.
Exactly. Okay, now this next section is all about how to integrate storytelling into your posts. This is where my superpower is. And if you look at your legacy story or your brand story, if there's dissonance in the way that you are trying to communicate it, it makes it really difficult to link up and connect with people. But when you say, this is who I am, here's the 3, 4, even 5 types of posts that you make. If you have 40 different types of things that you post, people won't know who you are.
Right.
But if you are very selective and you say, this is what my brand story is, this is what my values are, this is what I care about, and you intentionally create stories based on that, and then you share experiences and you tag other people based on that, you build a legacy and you build trust. But if you are always focusing on things that are just off brand, you will not be able to build a real following. What's your thoughts on that and how you can integrate storytelling?
I can diverge over into other random kinds of things based on what I did that day, that week. But I think I agree with you. And it's really making me rethink, my approach to my post. And one thing I might like to mention just really quick here, so people know these options. Along with posts, there's something called an article, which is a little more polished looking in the way LinkedIn allows you to format it. You have a picture at the top. You actually have a headline. You can have bulleted lists. You can go deeper. So I think articles are good if you did them even once a month. If you have a blog post that performed well, something you did that's really dear and dear to your heart, part of your 5-point brand story, put that into a freestanding article. But then if you feel you can commit to, say, on a monthly basis, possibly a LinkedIn newsletter. And so a LinkedIn newsletter is a wonderful free feature, service, whatever you want to call it, section, so that you take essentially a blog post and you put it within the umbrella kind of your newsletter. LinkedIn Tips and Insights is mine. And what will happen is LinkedIn will push it out. When you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, immediately LinkedIn will invite you to subscribe to their newsletter. So now you have, like now I have 2,500 people subscribe to my LinkedIn. This lives all within LinkedIn newsletter. Now, this is not like your MailChimp or your Constant Contact newsletter where you might be talking about XYZ things. This is laser focused, anything LinkedIn. So that like really does keep in sync with your brand story, with your legacy. So it's all about LinkedIn related matters. Mm-hmm. And I found that doing that is another good way to build my professionalism, my reputation. Oh, Joyce is this person that knows LinkedIn inside and out. So that's another way to reinforce your knowledge about your particular subject matter expertise.
Yeah. I love it. One of the other things that does when you are consistently posting and doing it in multiple formats is that makes it easier for search engines and AI to find you. I've noticed this by doing my podcast. This is my 180th podcast episode over the last 2.5 years. Wow. And the more copy that's out there that is on brand for you, the easier it is for AI and search engines to find you because you're all over the internet.
Yes.
And one of the other things with this is as you are intentionally integrating your story into different modalities. Mm-hmm. So you said articles, doing a newsletter, doing it as a podcast, doing it as blogs, your story will get out there more. The challenge with this is now that your story is out there, where do people go so that they come and can actually do business with you? You talked about this right before we got on. You have a book. I have a book as well. If you look that little ticking thing at the very bottom, it says brigham.com/3. That gets you the 3 reasons stage fright costs and how to fix it. This is the very top of my funnel. I send it in any type of post that I make so that I know where people are going to come to and I can give them value up front so they feel that, oh, wow, he really cares. And he wants me to be able to understand how to do better at storytelling and connecting with people. But you can do the same thing. You figure out where is that top of funnel for you, that you can collect contact information and do something that is truly valuable for them so that they're happy to give that contact information.
Yeah. What I use for that is I have an ebook called 9 Ways to Stand Out on LinkedIn. And when people go to my website and to the resources tab, it's one of the options there. When they go through it that way and they download, my ebook, then that puts them on my regular MailChimp mailing list, Boomers Blast. So that's how I capture their emails. And, so they're hearing from me then on a monthly basis because they're getting my newsletter. Exactly. So that's the way to do it too. So, but if people wanted to get it, the easiest way is just to find me, Joyce Feustel on LinkedIn. You got to spell it right, of course. But at any rate, when you go there and you ask to connect with me, just say ebook, and I'll just send you a PDF. I mean, listeners here, people watching this interview.
And that's exactly what I suggest with any person that comes and works with me is how do we help you be able to create a true valuable asset based on your story that people, when they get it, they're like, this is going to solve the problem that I have. And then because you truly solved a problem for them that they're willing to pay for, but they didn't have to pay for it with anything than their contact information, you now have higher credibility and more authenticity in what it is you're doing. So this is huge when we're talking about integrating and building real relationships that are of value.
Right. And this ebook, by the way, I started my first edition. My first edition came out in 2017 after Microsoft purchased LinkedIn. And I have updated on a regular basis. I'm now in my 6th edition of it. So I, pay a bunch of money to my editor and all this. But what's amazing, Brigham? Wow. If my intro of this, talking conceptually about each of the 9 chapters, nothing has changed on LinkedIn conceptually. But in the nitty gritty, in the B-roll, where you hear my voice while my video editor is going through and showing, do this, do that, whatever, that's where the little details have changed. But people say, oh, LinkedIn changes all the time. Well, yes, in ways it does. But in my ebook, I keep it very basic, very DIY. So there's nothing in it that somebody couldn't, with a little bit of effort, figure out on their own.
Absolutely. So here's just as a quick reminder where we got to when we're talking about linked up. The first L in this is to look. You're commanding attention. then we are integrating what it is that we're saying. And this next section is so key because LinkedIn is all about networking. It is connecting for maximum impact. You're not just willy-nilly choosing different people that you think would be interesting. You're saying, how can I add value to that person? Or if you just met that person, how can I make sure I formalize this connection and build real relationships with them? How can we collaborate? How can we find ways that both of us will be benefited by this relationship? What are some of the networking tips that you've had from doing this for, you said you've done it over a decade, specifically with LinkedIn and tutoring people? Talk to us about some of those tips and tricks with networking you've discovered.
Well, it kind of goes back to the basics to start with. I mean, it does go back to the basics. So you have the business card, you have the information through your phone, and you connect on LinkedIn. And then you can set up a system, whatever works for you, of people you want to periodically check, as I was saying earlier, into their LinkedIn profile to see what's going on with it. Also, I think it's important to use that LinkedIn profile and do email introductions. So when I introduce people to each other, I always include their LinkedIn URL, what you see at the top of your profile page, as part of the introduction. It's somewhat self-serving, I will admit, because then it might be people realize how poor their LinkedIn profile is. They're like, I better get with Joyce, right? But anyway, so that's a simple way in terms of being a gift to people to say, hey, I just met so-and-so at the District 26 conference. He's amazing. You've got to talk to him. So that's another way to think about it in terms of helping other people out. My whole approach to LinkedIn is to be of service to the other people. You can feel in a way it's about Joyce with the ribbon and here I am, best speaker, but it's really bigger than that. It's really to help, give my best. They say, give away your best stuff. So that's another way to think of it. So I'm trying to think of other ways to talk about nurturing the relationship. I think really, if you see something, you say, gosh, we haven't talked for like a year or whatever, 2 months, 8 months. You know what? So you see something on LinkedIn and you reach out, you email them. You don't necessarily, text them if you have them in your phone and say, hey, I saw that post of yours on LinkedIn and gosh, it made me realize it's been a while. So, I mean, you can feed it right back into your just normal sort of sequencing or whatever of networking. So that could also help, because sometimes you do forget about people, and then they come up like, oh yeah, Brigham, how was the move to Utah? That type of thing. Yeah.
No, it's excellent. One of the things with networking that I've discovered is when you are truly thinking, how can I be of service? And you notice something that someone else did and you point it out.
Yep.
That elevates their status. It makes them feel good. It also lets them feel heard and seen. One of the reasons people do LinkedIn and they do different social media platforms is because they actually want to connect, and they sometimes want to be entertained. And part of this is, how do you do both? If we're only going to give insights on things, but we're not entertaining, people are going to scroll past. Or if you're only entertaining and you are not adding value, people will also scroll past eventually.
Yeah.
If you are doing both, especially on a platform like LinkedIn, they want to be entertained, but they also want to actually extract value and solve real problems. If you can do both of that, changes the game.
You're golden then. I just want to build real quickly on this, the point of commenting. Commenting is just so important, like the way you were framing it. It really is validating somebody. But here's the thing, think about it. It's called your thoughts, or there's an acronym for it, but add your point of view. That's it, point of view. So the other day I saw somebody with a great post about the LinkedIn company page. And it's not something that people know. Maybe it was Sales Navigator. It was some feature that's not typically used a lot. And so whatever it was, I went to her and I said, oh, I remember now. It was the skills section. Sorry, my mind had to wander for a minute. And, one thing she was saying, skills, you can put skills all over your LinkedIn profile. And then I said, what's tricky about those skills with about is people miss that. People don't realize in the about section, which is toward the top, the kind of the bio section with a narrative, sometimes called summary, that right below it, you have this option to add up to 5 top skills. 5 top skills. And they appear so high. Like if you ever look at someone's profile, when you see that summary or a narrative in the about, you will just see like 2, 3 lines. And then you see 5 top skills. Or I think they actually call it top skills. So that's a little nuanced thing that so many people don't know. So I added that, and I didn't feel it would offend her. I felt like it would enhance her point. And she said, oh, thank you. Right away, she replies to my comment and said, thank you for that reminder, or some words to that effect. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the ways to, when people go and see that comment of yours, it adds value. It gives them additional perspective beyond what the original poster had, in their post.
I think this is absolutely essential. When you are thinking, hey, here's my perspective on this, and you add something that gives others a way to look at that challenge in a new light.
Yeah.
That is adding value to their post. And that's why people read comments, is because, well, this is one way to look at it, but then they hear, oh, this is another way to look. Oh, I can see it from this angle.
Yeah, it's really
changes
cool.
The way you approach it. It's
beautiful. And then you get in front of all their people, especially if you're an early commenter, right?
Yeah.
And then scrolling down and say, oh, that's Joyce's thought. Oh, I think I know her, So, yeah, but it sounds like you have to live on LinkedIn to do that. So tricky, but you could do it selectively.
Absolutely. Now, this last element here, because we've talked about looking, getting their attention, integrating this with your brand story, and then networking very intentionally. The whole reason you do this on social media, you build a brand story everywhere that you possibly can that serves you, is so that people can start to drink your Kool-Aid. I'm talking about this. It's being truly loyal to who you are and finding followers that have true buy-in. When I'm talking about Kool-Aid, I'm not literally talking about the sugary drink. I'm talking about, how do you help people connect deeply with you, care about what you care about, and find alignment with those people. When they start to drink your Kool-Aid, metaphorically, they will start to want to interface with you in all these different ways. And as they read books that you write, as they get into your email newsletter, eventually that familiarity will create impact, influence, and income. Now, income, when I talk about this, there's 5 different elements of income. Most people only think of money as income. That's one of them. You've got time. If you can get people to leverage your message and share it with more people, now you just bought back a lot of your time. You've got energy. When you make a post and 20 or 30 or even 100 people see it, you didn't have to repeat yourself 20 times. You did it once really effectively. Then money is the other thing. You will start to attract the ideal customers because they are enjoying your content and they want to get there faster. They want to be able to do the things that you do in a more efficient way. They're going to interface with you and say, hey, I want you to mentor me. I want you to help me. Then you also have the people. You truly get to build close relationships. If you have incoming relationships and you get referrals, suddenly your business starts to expand at an exponential rate because you're not the one that has to go one-to-one. You can go one-to-many. And then those many people that you talk to can start interfacing with you in different ways too. And it starts to branch out and go faster and faster and faster. And the last thing here is your knowledge. As you get more understanding and deeper when it comes to sharing value, others will start to say, oh, wow, I took that insight and now I am better because of it. And knowledge is the only one of these that never really goes down. You share more information, you get more information, it only goes up. As you get more experience and knowledge, you have a deeper ability to help others.
Yep.
So this is absolutely essential. So drinking the Kool-Aid, what's your thoughts on this, Joyce?
Wow. All I can say is amen. I think for some reason, Google reviews are coming to mind, and which is, Google, LinkedIn, of course, they're like that. And I think that when you ask someone for a Google review or a LinkedIn recommendation, I mean, these are important, but I say the Google review is probably, in the scheme of things, more important. Have them say something specific. Like, for example, after I worked with Joyce, the views of my profile doubled within a week, something like that. Or even though I'm in my 30s, Joyce works with more people than boomers. I'm in my 30s and I got so much out of this experience because there were things about LinkedIn I never knew until she showed them to me. So I have right now, I was thinking it's about 125 Google reviews, which is is really strong. I feel.
Mhm.
A couple of years ago, I was this friend of mine I knew in business was so good at them. I thought, I just got to start asking. And I have something like 300 some LinkedIn recommendations. So that's part of it too, is that when you really help people out and make a difference in their lives, they ask
Mm.
you, where can I write a review? What can I do to spread the word for you? How can I help you? So I think so much of life really is about giving back. Like I said, give away your best stuff. And I think all of these just fit together so well. It's a great list. The money, the time, the energy, the people, the knowledge. Yeah, I have, like here's another simple one. If somebody has a newsletter and you love it and they're always, thanking you for your newsletter, well, write them a note. Like, I love that paragraph about your skydiving that you did you wrote about in the newsletter. So, I mean, something where you realize people are paying attention. It always really touches me when after my regular newsletter comes out, I'll hear back or ask a question like, what, tell us about your mom. I just, honored my mom in the May newsletter, had this picture of me as a baby and then my mom in her 60s. So yeah, and I think that's where it's good to be on maybe a couple different platforms. We're talking mainly LinkedIn here, but there's people I hear from when I post something on Facebook, my business page there, that I wouldn't hear necessarily on LinkedIn. So kind of you got it. This is a whole broader social media discussion in terms like you do so well with your Facebook. It's where your audience is.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that, yeah, people, when you are in integrity and you really are who you really are and you're sincerely helpful, that shines through. People pick up on that. They really, really do. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to be with you. It took a little bit of like tech issues getting resolved, but thank you, God, for making that happen so we could have this deal that we've been looking forward to doing together.
Absolutely. Well, I know you were able to not just summarize a lot of these ideas, but linking up, we're looking for things that were empowering, commanding attention. We talked about integrating all of these different ideas, utilizing your story, and then networking in a very intentional way and helping people drink your Kool-Aid. That's linking up in a nutshell. You, Joyce, you were able to connect with me a few weeks ago. You experienced me as a speaker. What was your takeaway as far as the storytelling framework? I talk about this pretty much every single episode, to focus on what is significant, translate it to your audience so it matters, focus in on what the objective is, and help relive it so that you can have one clear, concise call to action with a yes. What is your takeaway on why does that matter for other people? Can you be specific on what that has done for you in the last couple of weeks?
Well, there's something very visceral about your presentation. This is one I honestly think you have to be there in person with you because you're sort of like so demonstrative, might be a word, in terms of how you share your points, and they're so memorable by the stories you associate them, the little details, and how you help bring that out in other people, even in a real-time setting, was quite remarkable. So here's another little tip is like when someone appeals to you, sit in the front row. Sit in the front where you can take pictures of him or her. You can be present. You can give him love. I'm a wonderful audience member. And I got so much out of it. And just to set this up for a minute, the reason I came and saw you in the hall and I was going to see a different speaker, because I wanted to compliment you on your energy when you stood up in the larger group and gave this tip to all these other Toastmasters. So when I'm giving you this tip and you're busy walking to your car to get your HTML card, you go, walk with me. I'm like, okay, I'll walk with you. So I walk with you, blah, blah, blah. Well, you got to come to my session. Well, okay, Brigham, if you insist. So I just want to set that up because it was like I wasn't going to go there.
Yeah.
So for me, it just made me think of so many different ways to engage other people, to think of details about our lives that we think, oh, nothing. But no, that could be a really good way to explain this concept. So that's what I got out of your energy.
Thank you so much.
I have good energy. You have good energy. That takes you like 95% of the way there.
Absolutely. And just thinking back to that very first interaction, you were very genuine in the way that you interface with me. You say, oh, thank you so much for your comment in the earlier session. And then when I said, hey, come walk with me for a second, because I was like 5 minutes from when that needed to start, and to get one of these HTML.
Yeah, you were busy.
I got to go, but I still want to talk with you. Mm-hmm. Guys, just because the timing isn't perfect doesn't mean you can't invite people.
Yeah.
Joyce was in in the focus of I'm going to go somewhere else. And I talked with her long enough that she's like, no, I want to be with you. How many times do you not say something or not invite someone into your ecosystem because you didn't ask?
Yeah.
We made a really great connection because I asked her to come with me, to walk with me.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
And that
That
was
was so
my
beautiful.
biggest takeaway from the whole experience with you was it's okay to just be with each other. I didn't have any expectation that you would come, but you walking with me made it so you're like, oh no, we can definitely do this together.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
Any
No,
final
it
thoughts,
was
Joyce,
perfect. Yeah. Go ahead.
on all of the different ideas we've shared, talking about how storytelling enhances social media and how you can link up? Any final thoughts, any stories that come to mind before we sign off?
No, I think that I think you need to have some degree of, what's the word I'm looking for? To be careful, to be, when you think of stories, think, okay, who's in the story? Is it okay if I tell the story about them? Being respectful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. It's just my words aren't coming together exactly the way I want, but to be a person that takes a moment and thinks, is this the time to share this story? Is this a good experience? Obviously, if it's your planned presentation, you can put it in there. But I mean, just as a quick aside, when I was giving that talk where I got the best speaker, toward the end, I said that I gave out it was a giveaway. It was like a drawing type thing, and at the Chamber of Commerce. And I said, I'll give away $165 an hour session. So this guy gets it, like maybe your age, possibly 30s or 40s. He says, well, maybe I'll give it to my mom. I says, wait a minute. Is your mom retired? He goes, yeah. No, I don't want to talk to your mom. I don't want to talk to her unless she has a business, unless she's looking for work. For me, a retired older person is boring. I mean, not exactly, but I mean, I just said that for effect. And so the room cracks up. I said, they should be more like me. Then I'll talk to them, right? So I gave that story totally ad lib. Did not plan to put that in there, but I think it's the one that landed the best and was toward the end. So I just give that as an example of a story that I don't think it was offensive to him, but it reinforced who I work with. Don't send me to the assisted living. No, I work with vibrant, excited people, no matter their age. I don't care their age, but they got to be somebody engaged in the world and making a difference.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Joyce, for being here, sharing wonderful insights. It was a delight to have you get my book and participate so deeply when it came to that experience a few weeks ago. And this was just a wonderful experience overall. Glad we could overcome all the technical challenges. It was great. But guys, know that we love you. We want you to be very successful. Go to that link, brigham.com/3. That will get you the 3 reasons stage fright costs and how to fix it. These 3 things will absolutely change the way that you open up and share your voice with others. If you haven't gotten it yet, guys, it's free. It's a $1,000 gift for free. Don't miss it. I hope that you do that from the bottom of my heart. And if you haven't gotten the story hook method yet, Joyce, why do people need to get that? I know you've experienced it firsthand. Why do they need to get that?
Great. Yes, they should. I agree. Buy his book.
I love it. Perfect. Hey, thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you again next Thursday.